Hi and welcome to Whiskey Shared. You're watching day 22 of my mystery whiskey advent calendar. I'm Toby and you're watching Whiskey Shared. Welcome to day 23, the penultimate day of my mystery whiskey advent calendar. If you've seen this before and you know it works, then you can just skip straight forward to the tasting. Otherwise, the way this works is I have over 150 samples in my sample collection and my wife has picked 24 at random. She'll put one a day into a blue Glencairn glass and I'll nose it, I'll taste it, I'll tell you if I like it, and I'll have a stab at what I think it is. Shall we find out what I'm drinking? On to the whiskey. If you'd like to play along with me and find out what's in my glass when I do, then just keep watching. Otherwise, take a look in the description now for a sneak peek. Let's start with the nose. Okay, so this is a little bit sweet. Maybe a hint of caramel. There's some fruitiness in there, reminds me of like red berries. Yeah, it's slightly sort of acidic and tart on the nose. Not overly high ABV. There's a sort of nice boiled sweet note, like synthetic boiled sweets. There's a hint of cloves in there as well. Yeah, but I'm not getting much more. So let's move on to the palate. So this one instantly reminds me of a young whiskey, the likes of Bimber. It's that sort of, you can tell the sort of underlying fruity new make coming up through the spirit. That's exactly what it reminds me of. And I would say this is a young whiskey. It might not be Bimber, but it has that sort of style and character. I have picked that up on other whiskies before. Lindor's, for example, has a similar sort of character for a young whiskey. I'm pretty sure I don't have any Lindor's though, so I am wondering whether or not I've got any Bimber for that matter, because although I've got lots of Bimber bottles, I don't think I've got any Bimber samples, but you never know, I might have. But yeah, this is slightly familiar, shall I say. Let's have another sip. Yeah, that fruitiness, I think, is more than just the spirit character. I think this has potentially been aged in something like sherry, but the fruitiness is like bramble fruits, like blackberries, raspberries, sort of hedgerow fruits, that sort of thing. It really is nice. I wouldn't say this is overly high ABV. I would say this is 46 to 50%. There's a little bit of heat and pepper on the tongue, but it's not overly high ABV. I think it's a little bit malty. You can definitely taste the sort of malted barley coming through, especially on the finish. It does linger with a little bit of bitterness, but yeah, it's quite nice. Let's have one final sip. Yeah, definitely getting more of the same. I think, although it is a little bit one-dimensional, I think that fruitiness is enhanced by the cask. I think it is a little bit young and a little bit prickly around the edges, but it's definitely a nice whiskey. It's definitely got lots of potential. I think the ABV is spot on for this. But I think that youthfulness is, I'd say it's a little bit overwhelming on the palate in terms of, although it's not high ABV, although there's not many flavours, it is tiring my palate a little bit. And I don't think I could drink much of this in a single sitting. I think it is a 1 dram and you're done, move on to something else. So it is nice. It does have potential, but it's a little bit palate fatiguing, I'd say. In terms of what I think it is, obviously I do think it's a young whiskey. It definitely reminds me of a Bimber, although I don't think I've got any Bimber, so let's discount that. But this potentially could be from anywhere in Europe. I'm trying to think if it might even have something young or new from Europe, but I don't know. This is, yeah, I think this is going to be a young whiskey from somewhere in Europe, including the United Kingdom, and yeah, hopefully under 50% ABV and aged in an ex-sherry or wine cask. Should we find out what's in my glass? Right, so it's Bimber Ex-bourbon Oak Casks. It's 51.8% and it was sent to me by the Summerton Club as part of the Summerton Whisky Festival. Yeah, the reason I've still got this is most likely because I bought multiple festival packs and didn't use all of the contents. But yeah, I didn't think I had any Bimber left. I'm really glad I picked up that profile. Obviously, I didn't nail it down to that profile because I didn't think I had any. So ABV wise, I think I'm in the right sort of ballpark, only a few points out. And it's interesting, obviously this is an ex-bourbon only. I own a bottle of this, so I might revisit that to compare. But the fruitiness of the new make is what's coming through. But it definitely comes across like there's a fruit flavour coming from the cask. And obviously there isn't in this case, it's all from the spirit. So yeah, it's impressive. And obviously the ex-bourbon Oak Casks, I think was the second release from Bimber. So yeah, very young stuff still, under 4 years old. So this definitely shows what potential Bimber had back then when they were first producing liquid. Obviously that malted barley comes through as a nice character, but yeah, I stand by this particular dram saying it was a little bit palate fatiguing. I don't think I could drink much of this in one sitting, and yeah, obviously their spirit has matured and progressed quite a bit since then. So yeah, I think maybe I should do a video on sort of older and newer Bimbers, do a compare and contrast, maybe find the same release several years apart. So keep an eye out for that, and if you don't already subscribe, please do so, and yeah, you might see that video in future. Hopefully you found that interesting, and hopefully you'll come back for the final day tomorrow. Sauncher.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.